Yo, peoples, Kyushu92 here to bring you yet another iteration of my Demon Slayer KIMETSU no YAIBA read-through. Last we left off, we had Tanjiro checking on Inosuke after them fighting the headless doll controlled by the Spider-Woman. And they run into the daughter of that family, because it's a whole group of spider demon yokai type family. It's a whole family of spider-like demon people. And they run into the daughter, and as they make their way towards her, she runs away and screams out father, and we finally get a look at the father of the family. And he's really big, and he has a spider face saying, don't you, well, let me just read through this. Saying, stay away from my family. And that ended volume 4, which I incorrectly called volume 3 at the beginning of my last read through. But this concludes volume 4. Now we get to see what happens in chapters 35 through 43 that make up volume 5 of the series. Let's go ahead and get started with chapter 35, Scattered. Water breathing second form, water wheel! And then Tanjiro brings his sword down on the spider father, and the spider father completely blocks it with his arm. And the blade won't even cut through him. And in this instance, the father prepares to punch Tanjiro. Of course, that punch is deflected by Inosuke, and even then, using Inosuke using his swords, it won't cut through this guy's arm either. He's tough. And they both try to grip onto him, and they both try to hit him with both their feet, and they both get launched away as the spider father just throws them away. Even using my forms, I can't cut him. What should I do? Then the spider father says, stay away from my family, and tries to swipe at Tanjiro. Inosuke comes up behind him, and Inosuke gets punched by the spider father. Then Tanjiro uses another form, water breathing second form, improved lateral water wheel. And in that instance, and then well, it looks like Tanjiro's slashing at a tree, not at the actual spider father. I was kind of confused what happened here, but it cuts back to Inosuke getting smacked away by the father. Oh, I wasn't strong enough. He knocked me for a loop with one arm. And then, it turns out that Tanjiro was in fact aiming at a tree to cause it to fall on where the father is. Because Inosuke immediately notices as a big tree starts to fall towards the father, and it actually hits him. I was expecting the spider father to either deflect it or smash it or just, anime style, grab it before it even touches him as if it's nothing to him at all. But no, the tree just falls on him. Gah! And then Tanjiro's there. And then Inosuke's thinking, did he cut down that tree? He's darn good. And then Tanjiro's thinking, I can do this. Total concentration, water breathing, 10th form. And then it shows the spider father struggling, and he starts to grip into the tree, and he actually starts to crush it just a little bit. So maybe he's actually strong enough to lift the tree off of him after all. Look out, says Inosuke. And he tries to run over, but he can't because he's saying, uh-oh, I'm weak from blood loss. And the spider father actually picks up the tree. He did pick it up. Just in time for Tanjiro to get hit by the tree as he tries to bear down on him. And then Tanjiro, because the father pretty much used the tree like a giant baseball bat, knocks Tanjiro into the air, with Inosuke mispronouncing his name again, calling him Kentaro! And as Tanjiro is in the air, he's thinking to himself, I absorbed the blow with the hilt of my katana, softening the shock to my body, but it didn't lessen the impact. Inosuke, be careful! That's one of the 12 Kizuki! I'll be back as soon as I can! Just don't die! Whatever you do, don't die! He says as he's thrown into the distance. And Inosuke just looks at him. Then we cut to Zenitsu, getting harder to breathe. And he's still laying on top of the house after he cut off the little spider body demon guy. And the little spider and the little spider baby-headed creatures, they're all just looking up in that direction as well. I'm sorry, Nezuko. And then, oh, this is that Shinobu person, I remember. She lands right next, she just lightly lands right next to, she lands right next to Zenitsu. And it's also kind of unique how she lands next to it, because with the way her coat, her whole coat is patterned, it is like enormous butterfly wings. Who is that? And she just kneels down beside him and smiles and says, hello there, are you okay? And then we're back to Tanjiro again. Water-breathing second form water wheel! And I guess he uses this in order to soften the landing of him getting back onto the ground again. Good, stuck the landing. And then we have someone with face covered in blood screaming, and it looks like the younger daughter of the spider family and the other brother, and the brother of the spider family as well. What are you looking at? This isn't a stage show. And that is the end of chapter 36. Onwards to chapter, well, that's the end of chapter 35. Onwards to chapter 36. My apologies. Chapter 36, this is bad. And it has the little girl with slashes over her face crying. And of course, with her being a demon and all, it automatically starts healing up. And Tanjiro is just looking at these two. What are you doing? Aren't you her friend? Friend? Our connection is nothing so superficial. We are family. Strong ties bind us. Besides, this matter is between me and my older sister. And the girl doesn't say anything. If you interrupt me, I'll carve you up. Whether you're family or friends, such strong connections are always precious. Not being related by blood doesn't make a connection superficial. And I can always smell trust between people with such strong ties. But between you guys, I only smell fear, hatred, and loathing. I wouldn't call that family ties. It's a sham. It's fake. And then this sort of hits a note with the girl as she looks in that certain, way. Then someone steps up behind the two spider siblings. Oh, looks like I've found just the right kind of demon. Even I can slay a kid demon like this. Huh? Who are you? You stay back. This one is mine. If my rank goes up, I'll start earning more money. Most of my unit got wiped out, but I'm gonna slay one proper demon and head back down the mountain. Oh, here's a guy who's probably gonna die in a couple of seconds. He's already thinking that if I kill you, my rank will go up and then I'll start earning more money. And then he rushes at him. This overzealous dude rushes at him. Tanjiro says, "No, don't, you can't!" And before he even gets to him, a spider pattern literally imprints itself on this guy's face as, well, if you ever seen the Resident Evil movie and the laser grid hallway scene, that is pretty much what happened to this guy, only in the shape of spider patterns, as his entire upper torso literally just flies, literally just comes apart in chunks. And the lower half of his body just skids to a halt before it even gets closer to the younger spider brother. He got diced up in a single strike. I knew it. I knew it was going to happen. What did you say? What did you just say? And then the little spider brother has like this crazed look on his face. What a menacing aura. The air got heavy and thick. Sorry, Inosuke. Hang on a little longer. I'll come help you as soon as I beat this demon. I'll say it again and again. Your so-called family ties are fake. Tanjiro ain't got no chill. I love him. And now we're here with Inosuke, breathing heavily. Hiding like this is shameful. Just pathetic. But I need to think of a way to cut through something a sword can't slice. Sorry if I'm burping just a little bit. Had breakfast not too long ago. What do I do? Think. And before he can even finish the word think, the Spider Father's fist just comes around this tree that he's hiding behind. Barely managing to hit Inosuke, who dodges out of the way, but also causes the entire tree to splinter straight through and topple over. Until that kid gets back, I have to do something. And then before he even says anything, he's thinking, what kind of thinking is that? Don't be ridiculous. And then he doubles back and starts charging towards the Spider Father. And he's looking like, Like the Spider Father is looking like he's running back to me. Then we have Inosuke saying, yeah, here I come. I've been infected by that little pig's cowardice. That was close. And he immediately tries to slice into the Spider Father again. And it just shows again that the sword isn't going through his skin too much. Too much thinking, and thinking's not my style. Then, while one sword is already embedded in the Spider Father's arm, he brings another sword down on top of it to increase the weight of it. And in one swift motion, he actually cuts off the Spider Father's arm. Yeah, I cut through it. That was easy. One sword would cut through, so I use my other one too. After all, if I'm gonna carry two swords, I better use them. I'm so darn strong. And then the Spider Father just starts running away. And then while Inosuke is cheering, he's looking like, huh? Why are you running away? Where did that jerk go? And then he starts getting mad and upset. And then he looks up a tree, and the Spider Father's up there. Up there? And the Spider Father is just up there, just hanging onto a tree with his arm regrown or reattached. That fool! Why'd he climb so high? He still wants to make me use my head! And then the Spider Father starts trembling. Tremble before me! And the Spider Father is not trembling because he's fearful. He's trembling because he's molting. It's molting. And we see another bot. We see, I guess, a new and improved form. Yeah, we see a new and improved form of the Spider Father who falls out of his original body. And now he falls down with the new body, and it's even more monstrous looking before. Multiple spikes is sticking out of his arms. His face has gotten more spiky, and his once slightly sharp fangs have become razor sharp, and I believe his number of eyes have increased as well. And then Inosuke is just looking at him and he thinks, nope, that's too big even for me. This is bad. And that is the end of chapter 36. Let's keep going with chapter 37. I gotta say, I'm enjoying every single one of these chapters. Chapters 37, Broken Blade. And then Inosuke is just thinking to himself, until this very moment, I'd never felt pressured by an opponent. It's no use. I can't win. This thing'll kill me. The Spider Father has grown a lot larger as well. When he used to be slightly taller, well, just like a couple feet taller than Inosuke and Tanjiro. Now he's literally towering over him. I'm gonna die. Don't die! And then he thinks back to what Tanjiro said to him. I'll be back as soon as I can. I'll be back as fast as I can. Whatever you do, don't die. And then he thinks back to the old woman. when they were resting.
At all times, please live your life with pride. I wish you good fortune in war.
And then Inosuke grips his sword. I won't lose. I can't lose. I am Inosuke Hashibira of the Demon Slayer Corps. Come and fight me, you scum! And the Spider Father immediately hits him. Hits him with enough force for him to rebound off the ground and hit multiple trees. And as Inosuke starts to right himself, the Spider Father is already on him, preparing to attack him again, and he crushes the tree that Inosuke is, and he just slams down in the spot where Inosuke is. But Inosuke is gone, but the tree that he was against is destroyed. And then we have Inosuke already over the Spider Father here. Beast breathing Fang 3, devour! And he tries to cut the neck of the Spider Father with his swords, and both of his swords break. They broke! And in a sweeping motion, the Spider Father literally sideswipes him and knocks him into a tree. I wasn't ready for that. And then it shows the Spider Father grabbing him by the neck. As the Spider Father, more monstrous than before, says, You stay away from my family. You stay away from my family. If that didn't come through clear enough. And then Inosuke says, I refuse to die. Beast breathing Fang 1. Pierce. And then, using the ends of his swords that he still has left, he stabs into the neck of it. And he actually manages to stab into the neck of it. I stabbed it! But it appears that the blades didn't pierce it enough. My blades won't move. So tough! And then the Spider Father grips the neck of Inosuke even more. And then memories pop up. And there's a woman there. Please forgive me. I'm sorry, Inosuke. In the moment before the demon was about to crush his neck, Inosuke's life passed before his eyes. Oh, so this woman is Inosuke's mother. Then he thinks of Zenitsu and Tanjiro, and then the old lady that took care of him. Then as he looks up at a cliff, he sees someone standing there, looks like a woman, and he thinks to himself, who is that? And as he starts to choke on blood while the Spider Father's gripping him, all of a sudden, the Spider Father's arm gets sliced clean through. Hey, it's Giyu. Oh yeah, it's Giyu. And the Spider Father screams in pain as Inosuke drops. As Inosuke drops with the Spider Father's arm still around him. I know his name is not Spider Father, but that's what I'm calling him, so you guys know exactly who I'm talking about. Huh? Did he do that? Yep, it's Giyu. Then the Spider Father extends his arm out to launch towards Giyu. With lightning speed, with enough speed for Inosuke to say, that's fast! But then Giyu comes around with water breathing, fourth form, striking tide, and literally slices the Spider Father to pieces, including cutting him off at the neck. Literally, with this striking tide move, he just slices completely through the guy multiple times. Just dismemberment everywhere. And then Inosuke is just looking, and he's thinking to himself, wow. He's on a whole other level. We're as different as heaven and earth. With a single stroke, he sliced up that monster like tofu. Wow. Wow. Who is this guy? I can't contain my excitement. And then it cuts back to the Spider Brother, back where Tanjiro is. I don't plan to kill you all at once. First, I'll shred your skin, then I'll chop you up. But if you take back what you said, I'll make it quick. Then Tanjiro says, I won't take it back. I meant every word I said, and what's more, I'm absolutely right. The one who's wrong is you. And then threads start to appear behind Tanjiro, but Tanjiro thinks, I can smell them. That other odor has faded, so I can smell the threads. And then the Spider Brothers thinking to himself, he's smarter than I thought. He doesn't hesitate. Oh well, not that it matters. Then Tanjiro is thinking to himself, water breathing first form, water surface slash. And in an instant, with the wires, with the threads that the Spider Brother has created, he slices Tanjiro's sword in half. And Tanjiro is left dumbfounded as he sees his sword literally separate in the middle. And that's the end of chapter 37. Onwards to chapter 38. Chapter 38, Real and Fake. Hey, you in the two-tone jacket, fight me! And then Giyu is just looking at him. You beat one of the 12 Kizuki, now I'm gonna beat you! I do that, and I get promoted. That's how it works! And then Giyu just says, You'd do better to get back to your training, fool. And then Inosuke doesn't say anything before getting mad and irate, saying, What? Then Giyu continues on, saying, That wasn't one of the 12 Kizuki. Even you should know that. I did know that. It was Tanjiro who said that it was one of the 12 Kizuki. I just repeated what he told me. And then in an instant, while Inosuke is speaking, he is bound by rope and left hanging from a tree before Inosuke could even tell what just happened. What the? He tied me up! He's so fast! Hey, wait! Ah! Then Giyu continues on saying, Someone who doesn't even know the extent of his own injuries have no place in battle. And then he just walks away. I can't hear you! You walk too fast! Then we cut back to Tanjiro, where his face gets sliced just a little bit, and he falls to the ground. My katana broke! I can't believe it. The webs this kid wields are even stronger than the body of that demon I couldn't cut earlier. Forgive me, Urokodaki and Haganezuka. Forgive me, Urokodaki and Haganezuka. Because of my inexperience, I broke my sword. No time for that. Think. I can't cut the threads, but if I get within reach. Impossible. I can't get through. Those webs move like they're alive. He's holding back so as to not to kill me. I keep saying this wrong. I'm sorry. He's holding back so as not to kill me, but I'm still struggling. And then the Spider Brother pulls up more threads, and it just shows multiple threads just to start to surround him. And seeing as how razor sharp they are, we know what it can do to a person's body. I like the guy from the last chapter. We kind of saw that already. I can't dodge. And then the Spider Brother is surprised as a splash of blood comes across Tanjiro. But it's Nezuko. Nezuko just came out of nowhere and took the hits for him. And it really did some damage to her because we see entire strands of hair get sliced off by these wires. Nezuko! And he immediately catches Nezuko and immediately starts running towards the woods. Then we have the older sister who's just watching all this go down. And she's thinking to herself, the girl was in the box he carries, but she seems to be a demon. And then she just thinks. Then we cut back to Tanjiro. Nezuko! You protected me, I'm sorry. And then the younger brother points his finger towards Nezuko and Tanjiro and starts shaking, saying, You are brother and sister? So what if we are? And then it just shows Nezuko clearly in pain as she winces. Such deep wounds, her hand could come off. Come on, heal up, quick! Siblings. Siblings. His sister is a demon, but he is with her. Rui. His sister protected him by leaping in the way. Theirs is a true family bond. That's what I want. And then the younger sister is like, wait, please wait. I'm your elder sister. Don't abandon me. And then Rui just says, shut up. And in this instant, he swipes towards her, cutting her and multiple trees in the process. Literally just instant slice through these trees. And it also shows that her arm got cut as well. And then it shows the rest of the trees falling down that he just completely cut through. Then Rui starts speaking. Not the older brother. I keep forgetting that his name was actually told to us. I just forgot it. In the end, you never fulfilled your roles. Not once. And apparently he also cut off his sister's head as well. But she's all, wait, I was your elder sister. You said so. Let me make it up to you. Then Rui says nothing. Then he says, then kill those people wandering around the mountain. If you do, then I'll forgive all your shortcomings. And then her body slumps up and she says, I understand. I'll kill them. And she picks up her head and starts to walk towards into the forest. Boy, let's talk. Talk? And then Rui starts speaking. I was moved when I saw the connection between you two. It made me shiver. I'm sure there are no words to express what you two have. But even though it will break my heart, I still have to kill you. There's only one way to avoid that. Give me your sister. If you hand her over quietly, I'll spare your life. I don't understand what you're talking about, Tanjiro says. As of now, I want your sister to be my sister. And then instantly, Tanjiro grips onto Nezuko and he says, there's no way I can accept that. Besides, Nezuko isn't a thing. She has feelings and free will. She won't be your sister. It's all right. Don't worry. I'll forge a bond. I'm stronger, so it will start as a bond of fear. She'll know what will happen to her if she disobeys. And that is automatically the reason why you are never getting Nezuko. Are you insane? Using fear to bind someone is nothing like a familial tie. As long as you think like that, you'll never get what you want. You're so loud, it's very annoying. I don't like you. And then Tanjiro just says, I'll never give Nezuko to you. Of course you won't. So I'll kill you and take her. Not if I cut off your head first. You've got spirit. If you think you can, then do it. If you have what it takes to defeat one of the 12 Kizuki. So Rui is one of the 12. Okay. That's the end of chapter 38. Onwards to chapter 39. All right. Chapter 39, Life Passing Before One's Eyes. In a family, a father has a distinct set of responsibilities, and a mother has her own specific role to play. Parents must protect their children, and the elder children must protect their younger siblings, even at the risk of their own lives. And then we cut back to Rui, one of the 12 Kizuki, saying, I believe that people who don't fulfill their roles have no right to live. What about you? Do you know what your role in life is? Your role is to give your sister to me, then disappear. If you can't do that, you must die, because you can't win. Then Tanjiro thinks, I couldn't cut his webs. What can I do with a broken sword? Is his neck tougher than his silk? I don't like that burning glare in your eyes. How foolish. Could it be that you think you can win? And then he pulls back, showing that he's attached threads to Nezuko and pulls her into the air. Nezuko! And then Nezuko falls into his arms. There, I've already taken her. Do you understand your role? And then Tanjiro immediately bum rushes Rui. Let her go! I told you, give her to me and I'll spare your life. But then Nezuko comes around with her hand and slashes Rui across the face. Then it shows Tanjiro trying to rush him, and it shows Rui pulling backwards, and Tanjiro immediately stops himself and flips back, keeping threads from slicing him apart. Huh. Where's Nezuko? And then he feels blood dripping down on him, and it shows that Nezuko has been bound up in the air above the trees. Nezuko! She has been really bound up. Like, the threads are literally cutting into her. And she's bound up, so she can't move at all. Then we have Rui speaking as his face begins to heal. Cease your screeching. That won't kill her, she's a demon. But she must learn her new role, so I'll let her bleed for a while. If she still won't obey, I'll leave her like that until sunrise, and let her get a bit scorched. Then Tanjiro grips his sword because really doesn't like someone speaking this way about his sister, especially in the current, state that she's in. Stay calm. Don't get emotional. Concentrate. Control your breathing. Do the final form, the one with the highest precision. Huh? Did she faint? Did she faint or fall asleep? I get an odd feeling from that demon. She's somehow different from us. Interesting. Then back to Tanjiro. Total concentration, water breathing, constant flux! And a very beautiful panel with him posing with his broken sword with, like the pose of a giant dragon, Eastern-style dragon behind him. And then it has a narration. Constant flux. In this technique, this is him narrating. Constant flux. In this technique, I spin like a writhing dragon, making a series of strikes. The second blow stronger than the first, and the third stronger than the second, and the fourth stronger yet. Each time I spin, the blow gets stronger. And in this one panel, it shows him actually cutting through Rui's threads, which have been shown to actually cut swords and people with ease. I cut it. If I keep going, I can win. And then it shows Rui bracing himself and actually his fingers and hands starting to turn black, and he just says, "Oh, did you think that was the strongest thread I could make? Demon blood art, cutting thread cage." And then it shows massive webs in front of Tanjiro. I've had enough of you. Goodbye. And then Tanjiro thinks to himself, no, this smells completely different from the other thread. I haven't spun enough yet. I can't cut this thread. I can't give up. I must keep going. But there's no way I can win. I'm going to die. There's a theory that the reason your life passes before your eyes just before death is to give you a chance to search all your experiences and memory to find a way to escape. And then he thinks back to his childhood. Way back when he's a kid and Nezuko was a baby, and he pictures his father. I want to say, yeah, it's his father. Father! Tanjiro, your breathing. Control your breathing. Become like Hinokami. And then it dawns, and then something dawns on Tanjiro. And that is the end of chapter 39, onwards to chapter 40. Chapter 40, Hinokami. Hey, this sword looks like the sword here in this front page kind of reminds me of the Sohayamaru sword from the Neo 2 series, from the Neo 2 game. It really does with the way it is. And then we are cutting back to Tanjiro's childhood, what I believe his mother. Look, Tanjiro, your father is doing a Kagura dance. Our family works with fire, so in order to keep us safe, we offer our dance and prayers to Hinokami, the fire god, at the start of each year. And then it shows his father in ornate dressing, trappings, and just dancing. And then it just shows Tanjiro's, not Kanjiro, but Tanjiro's perspective of it all. And then it shows a close up of his father dancing with a big old sword that reminds me of the Sohayamaru.
How do you do it, Dad? How can you dance for so long out in the snow? I bet my lungs would freeze.
And then we cut back to Tanjiro's father speaking to him.
There's a special way of breathing that lets you never get tired no matter how long you move. If you learn how to breathe properly, Tanjiro, you'll be fine out in the cold. You'll be able to dance forever. Tanjiro, be sure you have these earrings when it's time to do the Kagura. Wear them always so you don't lose them. Promise me.
And then it cuts back to present-day Tanjiro as the dragon form that we've seen before just erupts into flames, and then we see him use a move called Hinokami Kagura. Hinokami Kagura dance! And he slashes in the direction of Rui. And this appearance makes his sword strike look like it's sheathed in fire. And this surprises Rui, as he takes what's left of his sword and tries to go for his neck. And then we have Tanjiro saying, "The threads move like they're alive. In the blink of an eye, he made new ones." Like, before he even goes to try and go for Rui's neck, Rui has already made new threads to try and catch him and stop him from moving. "In the blink of an eye, he made new threads. I can't pull back even for a moment. I'm going to pay for switching from water breathing to Hinokami Kagura breathing. In a moment, I may not be able to move." And then it shows like a thread coming from the neck of Rui. Literally the opening thread that Tanjiro is always looking for. "I saw it, the opening thread. I hadn't seen it until now. Only my arm will reach his neck. Forgive me, Father. In order to protect Nezuko, I must do this now, even though it means we'll kill each other." And even though there's threads in the path of Tanjiro, he still goes for Rui's neck. "Nezuko." And then I guess this is Nezuko, like having a little dream of her own of her mother. "Nezuko, wake up. The way you are now, you can do this. Try hard." And then Nezuko isn't moving, but then the spirit of her mother says, "Nezuko, if you don't, your brother will die," the mother says with tears in her eyes. Then Nezuko immediately wakes up and sees Tanjiro going for Rui. Then all of a sudden, her arm braces up. Her arm tenses up, veins start to appear in it, and we see blood demon art, exploding blood. And she grips like Guard does with, sand burial. And then all of a sudden, the threads light on fire. Fire? And then Rui just thinks to himself, fire? On the thread? Tanjiro's counterattack was unexpected, especially since Rui was about to kill him in one blow. To block him, Rui instinctively used the same thread that was stringing up Nezuko. Nezuko's blood stained that thread, flammable demon blood with an explosive supernatural quality. And then it shows the threads going across the face of Tanjiro, but they burn away. They don't go deep enough for them to actually injure Tanjiro substantially. Impossible. My threads burned away? And then it shows Rui. It shows Rui as the blade prepares to get to his neck. He severed my threads, but he cannot cut my neck. My body is even stronger than my threads. When Nezuko used her body to cover Tanjiro, a splash of her blood struck his katana. This is another narration. When Nezuko used her body to cover Tanjiro, a splash of her blood struck his katana. Nezuko's blood exploded, pushing Tanjiro's Nichirin sword forward. No one can break the bond that Nezuko and I share. And in that instance, we see a massive wave of fire from his strike and the full-on decapitation of Rui. And that is the end of chapter 40. Yo, Tanjiro did it. He took down one of the 12 Kizuki with the help of Nezuko. Now he can give their blood in the hopes of, curing Nezuko. Onwards to chapter 41. We're almost done. Wow, this is going a lot faster than the last time in this chapter. At this point, I would have been pushing like an hour at least. Chapter 41, Shinobu Kocho. And then we have the sister running through the forest. We have the spider sister running through the forest as she's reattaching her head. I messed up. I really messed up. Even though I'm the only one who never messes up. I ruined our pretend family. We had no real blood ties, but we were all afraid of demon slayers and we wanted companions. Rui had all the abilities. The rest of us were minor demons, so he split his abilities amongst us. He was the master's favorite, so we all agreed. The first thing he made us do was change the way we looked. We reshaped our faces to look more like Rui. The mother of our group was a child demon. She was so young that she still had her human memories and she often wept. This kept her from being good at playing the role of mother. Also, she wasn't good at transforming her body and face, so she was punished every day. So sad. Rui punished anyone who disobeyed his orders or failed their role in our family. He cut them or steal their intelligence or bind them and leave them hanging in the sunlight. So that's probably what he did to the father of the group. He robbed him of his intelligence. I only ever worried about myself. They were dumb, but I was different. But now I've messed up. And then she's just saying out loud, Rui, they've beaten Mother and probably Big Brother too. What should we do? The demon slayers are here. More of them are arriving. And Rui doesn't say anything. Hey. And then she doesn't say anything. And then she says, maybe we should run away? And then Rui just stares at her. Maybe he'll snap out of it if I show him my real face. More than anything, Rui hates when we drop our family faces. He'll cut me up for doing this, but it's worth it if I can get him to snap out of this trance. Then it shows the Spider Sister running up on another member of the Demon Slayer Corps, like a lower rank. And the guy braces himself. Huh! A demon! And she wraps him up in a web ball. Just wraps him up in a web ball and just traps him in there. One down. Good. And apparently, okay, let me keep reading because it explains it. He tries to stab into it, but the guy can't cut through it. It's no use. Your katana won't help. My balls of yarn are soft but tough. First, my dissolution fluid will melt your clothes. Then it will go to work on your body. You'll be reduced to mush, and then you'll be my meal. And then Shinobu's right behind her, and she says, oh my. Wow, are you spinning those threads from the palms of your hands? And then the spider girl just looks at her. Good evening. Isn't the moon pretty tonight? And the spider girl tries to swipe at Shinobu, but Shinobu just easily dodges it with a smile on her face, like it's nothing at all, just dodging it everywhere. She's completely avoiding my silk threads. Then Shinobu says, it seems like you don't want to get along with me. And then this look that she gets from Shinobu just immediately, and the thing is, Shinobu has like this soft-spoken smile on her face. But this sends shivers down the Spider Girl's spine. Her aura is so strong, it stopped my breath, but it's different from Rui's. It's cold, it makes me want to curl up. Like death is at my side. And then she says, wait, please! Rui forced me to do all this, help me! If I cross him, he'll tie me up and cut me to pieces. And then Shinobu just stops and says, oh, really? That sounds painful. How terrible. If we can get along, I'll help you. So please cooperate. And then she says, and then the spider girl says,
You'll help me?
then Shinobu says,
Sure, but I need to know a few things about you first. You're a cute little lady. How many people have you killed?
and then the spider girl doesn't say anything, and she says,
5, but I was under orders and couldn't avoid it.
and then Shinobu says,
Please don't lie, because I'll know. That was splendid the way you cocooned up my partner. You've eaten 80 people, right?
yo, this vibe I'm getting from Shinobu right now, this is actually kind of intimidating. She's asking these very serious questions with closed eyes and a smile. Just think Unohana from Bleach. This is the vibe I'm getting from Shinobu.
That was splendid the way you cocooned up my partner. You've eaten 80 people, right?
And then she says,
No, I haven't.
and then Shinobu says,
I just came from the west and you came from the west too. I've only killed 5 people. On the western side of the mountain, I saw many cocoons hanging from the trees. All contained the melted remains of people. In one spot alone, I saw 14 cocoons. That's 14 dead people. I'm not angry. I just want an accurate number.
and then the spider girl just looks at her and says,
What for?
and then Shinobu says,
So I can punish you properly, and then you'll be reborn. After that, we can be friends.
I'm actually kind of getting intimidated by how well she's taking all of this and how she's saying this all with a smile. I'm getting mad Unohana vibes.
Punishment? Without any
And then the spider girl says,
punishment? Then Shinobu says, Without any punishment, you won't have atoned for the people you killed. So I'll punish you in a way that fits your crimes. I think I'll gouge out your eyes, cut open your stomach, and pull out your guts. When you can handle that pain, your sins will be forgiven. Let's give it our best, shall we?
yo, and the girl is just like, this woman's crazy.
And then Shinobu says, Don't worry, you're a demon so you won't die, and you won't have any lingering effects.
And then the spider girl says,
You're serious? This isn't a joke? Die, foul woman!
and she tries to wrap up and she tries to cover Shinobu in threads. But Shinobu is already behind her, and there are multiple strikes against this spider girl with what Shinobu calls insect breathing butterfly dance carapace, or caprice. It's caprice. Insect breathing butterfly dance caprice.
Oh well, I guess we won't be friends after all. Gee, that's too bad.
And then the spider girl is looking like it was puncture wounds. Not slashes, but puncture wounds. And the spider girl is thinking,
I didn't even see her move, but she didn't cut off my head. Her body is small and her arms are soft, so she can't cut off my head. I can win this.
then all of a sudden, her heart starts to beat and she stops in her tracks and she starts to sweat profusely. And her whole body starts to change color and starts to gain spots all over, and it looks like she's choking to death. And she falls over. And she just falls over, coughing up blood, and she just falls over and she doesn't move. Then Shinobu says,
You shouldn't feel safe just because I didn't cut off your head.
oh, she says,
You shouldn't feel safe just because I didn't cut your head off. Because some warriors use poison, like me. I'm Shinobu Kocho, Insect Hashira in the Demon Slayer Corps. Of the Hashira, I'm the only one who can't cut off a demon's head. But I can make poisons that can kill demons. Impressive, isn't it?
and it shows her sword, which is pretty much like the needle of like an injection needle. It's not like your average katana, it's just very, very extremely narrow. And the tip of it is just basically just like puncture needles.
Oh, I'm sorry. You can't hear me anymore. You're dead. My bad.
And then she just laughs at this. And that is it for chapter 41. Onwards to chapter 42. We are almost done. Chapter 42, Behind. This might be an hour. And then it shows Shinobu using her sword to puncture into one of the cocoons that the guy got caught inside.
Are you okay?
She just poked the cocoon with that thin katana and it broke. I'm fine. Is it safe to leave the demon unfinished?
And then Shinobu says,
Don't worry, she's already dead. Her body will rot. I killed her with poison made from wisteria blossoms. I'm really into chemistry.
a mixture of Unohana and Mayuri Kurotsuchi. And then we find out that the guy, his clothes have melted because of him being inside the cocoon so long, but not enough for it to actually melt down his body yet.
Your clothes melted, but you seem okay. Good, huh?
And then he's just sitting there, naked with no clothes, just like, what do I do now? Then we cut back to Tanjiro, who has successfully cut off the head of Rui. Hopefully he remembers to get the blood from Rui for Tamayo's research. And then Tanjiro just thinks to himself, I did it! I won! With some help from Dad! I don't know why I thought of the Kagura that my family had performed for generations, or why it worked. But it did, and I won! I won, Nezuko! And then it shows him crawling away. As he thinks to himself, my vision is blurring. It's getting hard to see. Was I too reckless with my breathing? My ears are ringing. My body is throbbing in pain. I have to shake this off. There's still more fighting to do. I have to go help Inosuke and fast. He doesn't know that Inosuke was saved by Giyu. Where is Nezuko? And then he sees Nezuko in front of him. Nezuko, are you all right? And then apparently, even though the fight is not over, because even though he cut off the head of Rui, Rui's body still gets up and starts to move. And then this immediately catches Tanjiro's attention. The smell of blood is getting stronger. He's not dead, even though I took his head off? I don't smell that ash-like odor that lingers when a demon disappears. And then it shows the body pulling threads as it shows the head of Rui attached to these threads. And Rui says, Did you think you'd beaten me? Too bad. Were you enjoying that pitiful fantasy? Before you could cut my head off, I used my thread to cut it off myself. And now I'm going to kill you and your sister. I haven't been this angry for a really long time. Stand up! Hurry! Catch your breath and get on your feet! Now! Oh wait, this is Tanjiro thinking this to himself. Stand up! Hurry! Catch your breath and get on your feet! Now! And then Rui stands back up. Well, it shows Rui placing his head back onto his shoulders again. What an unpleasant feeling. I was this angry once before, but it was so long ago I barely remember it. Say, how come you didn't get burned? The flames only burned me and my threads. I don't know if that was your sister's power or what, but I'm thankful. I'm so irritated that I can cut you to pieces without any regret. And then cutting back to Tanjiro, he's thinking to himself, if I breathe correctly, it won't matter how exhausted I am. And then it shows Rui bearing down on him as Tanjiro thinks to himself, breathe, breathe. And then it shows Rui using another demon art called Demon Art, Demon Blood Art, Murderous Eye Basket. And then Tanjiro is just in a basket of threads. He's just trapped in there. I can't panic, it'll throw off my breathing. Stay calm, stay calm. I can't raise my arms. Essentially, this murderous eye basket, it reminds me of Doflamingo's birdcage. It starts to get smaller and smaller in the hopes that these razor-sharp wires will pretty much just cut apart anyone caught inside. But then we see something whiz past the trees lightning fast. And then we see someone come in right above Tanjiro and cut the threads apart easily. It is Giyu! And he just stands there over Tanjiro. But Tanjiro can't really make it out because his vision was blurring. And then he thinks, someone's here. Who is it? Zenitsu? And then Gyu just speaks and says,
You did well to hold on until I got here. Leave the rest to me.
and then Tanjiro doesn't say anything, but his eyes open wide in surprise. Then Rui starts to speak, starts to think,
There's another one? It's like these scum exist just to interfere with me. Blood demon art?
and then it shows his arms growing black as he uses his art.
Cutting thread rotation!
And then Gyu is just standing there, unfazed by it, and he just thinks to himself,
Total concentration water breathing. 11th form. Dead calm.
and I'm looking at this, and it shows the threads making their way towards Gyu, but as he's making his way toward, I don't know if he's doing something with his arms or if he's dodging it completely, but dead calm, the threads literally just almost cut themselves right in front of him, and he barely moves at all. And this surprises Rui.
What did he do? As soon as my threads got near him, they scattered. Not a single one reached him. So did he cut my strongest threads? That can't be. I'll try again.
And as soon as he thinks I'll try again, Gyu is a distance from him when he's thinking that can't be, I'll try again. And then as soon as he finished saying that, Gyu is literally directly in front of him. Like, blink and this person is already in front of you. And Gyu's already there. And he cuts off the head instantly of Rui.
Urokodaki's techniques go up to 10.
And here's some narration.
Urokodaki's techniques go up to 10.
Gyu developed the 11th form himself, and only he could do this technique. A dead calm is a sea with no winds and no waves. The water's surface becomes like a mirror. It calms any technique that comes within his reach and turns it into nothing. And as Ryu's head falls off, he just says out loud,
Darn him! Curses! I'll kill him, and then I'll kill that brother and sister!
Then he just looks over at Tanjiro, as it shows Tanjiro embracing Nezuko. I really hope he gets the blood from Rui's body before his body evaporates. But then it cuts back to the memories of Rui, with someone asking him, Rui, what do you want? And then it cuts to Rui thinking, I couldn't answer, because I no longer had any memories from when I was human. I thought my memories would come back if I formed some real familial bonds. I thought I would remember what I wanted. Then, in his last moments, he thinks, that's right, and then it cuts to the two individuals, most likely his mother and father, looking at him. And that is the end of chapter 42. Onwards to the last chapter for today, chapter 43. Chapter 43, To Hell. And I'm guessing this is the memories of Rui before he was turned.
From the day I was born, I was weak. I could never run. It was even difficult to walk. Until Muzan came along.
And then we have Muzan Kibutsuchi here!
You poor thing. I shall save you. My parents were not happy. Despite having grown stronger, I wouldn't go out in the sunlight, and I began to feed on people.
Rui, what have you done? What have you done? And then it just shows him in front of a body of a person I guess he killed and was trying to eat, as his mother and father look on at him.
Long ago, I heard an incredible story. Apparently, a father died saving his child from drowning in the river. Such amazing parental love. I was deeply moved. Dying so that your child could live was truly fulfilling a parent's role. So why did my parents try to kill me? My mother only wept. She didn't try to shield me from my father's attempts to kill me. What should have been strong family bonds, her love, must have been fake. We clearly weren't a real family. And it shows him sitting at the edge of his house with both his mom and dad laying in pools of blood.
And he's looking over at his mother saying, is she still alive? What's that she's saying? And then the mother is saying,
I'm sorry that, although I gave you life, I couldn't give you a strong body, too.
and then Rui just looks on in shock as his mother says this. With those words of sorrow on her lips, she died. And then his father is saying, it's all right, Rui. I'll die with you. At first, my anger at his attempt to kill me kept me from hearing those words. Eventually, I understood my father was willing to die in order to share my sin of having killed someone. With that knowledge, I suddenly realized that the bonds we shared were strong and true until I cut them with my own hands. Muzan tried to cheer me up. All this was your parents' fault for not accepting what you've become. Be proud of your strength. I had no choice but to believe that. Otherwise, I couldn't live with what I'd done. Even though I told myself that my parents were to blame. I missed my father and mother so badly I couldn't stand it. Even creating a fake family didn't stop the emptiness. In the end, I was the strongest, so no one could ever protect or defend me. The stronger I got, the more my human memories faded, and the less I understood what I truly wanted. What did I want to do? And then it shows the body of Rui falling towards the ground just as he's right next to Tanjiro and Nezuko. I started desperately reaching out, searching for connections I could no longer understand and could never recreate. Then Tanjiro looks at him and thinks to himself, that small body smells of sadness so great it's unbearable. Then it shows Tanjiro reaching towards him. As the remnants of Rui's head looks on, he sees Tanjiro grab him and hold on to him just holds on to him as he starts to fade away. A gentle hand, warm as the light of the sun. Now that I can remember, I wish I could apologize. I'm sorry. This was my fault. All my fault. Please forgive me. But I've killed mountains of people, so I'm going to hell. I don't get to go to the same place as Mom and Dad, right? And then it shows the spirit of his mom and dad putting their hands on Rui's back, with the father saying, wherever you go, we'll go. We're your parents. We'll even go with you to hell. And as he looks on to his parents, what used to be Demon Rui starts to turn into Human Rui as his hair starts to change back to the color it used to be, and he embraces his family. This is all my fault. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. So very sorry. As the background and the space where they are, where they all are, starts to fade and turn dark, and as fire starts to envelop them. And then the rest of Rui just fades away into nothing, with Giyu just stepping over Rui's clothes, looking down at Tanjiro. Don't waste pity on a demon that ate dozens of people, even if it looks like a child. It was a horrible monster that lived for hundreds of years. In order to soothe the spirits of those it killed and to make sure it claims no further victims, I will swing my blade and lop off the head of any demon without mercy. But I will not belittle those who regret their actions and suffer over the things they did as demons. Oh, wait. So this is Tanjiro saying this. Sorry, I gotta read through that again. My apologies. Don't waste pity on a demon that ate dozens of people, even if it looks like a child. It was a horrible monster that lives for hundreds of years. And then Tanjiro says, in order to soothe the spirits of those it killed and to make sure it claims no further victims, I will swing my blade and lop off the head of any demon without mercy. But I will not belittle those who regret their actions and suffer over the things they did as demons. Because demons were once human, because they were human like me.
Move your foot.
Because Giyu is standing on Rui's clothes that he used to be in.
They aren't ugly, worthless monsters. They are pitiful creatures once living in now empty shells.
And then he looks on Tanjiro, and then he looks at Nezuko, and then it dawns on him. You. And then all of a sudden, it shows Shinobu coming in with Giyu deflecting a blow from her for some odd reason. And then it shows Shinobu saying,
Why did you block me, Tomioka?
as Shinobu lands behind him, and it shows Giyu standing in front of him. It shows Giyu standing in front of Tanjiro, and then Shinobu says,
You yourself said there's no getting along with demons, so what are you doing? That's why everyone hates you.
And thus concludes the end of chapter 43 and the end of volume 5, To Hell, of Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I will say this much. We're getting introduced to new people, Shinobu, and we're seeing Giyu again. We saw, I keep noticing. I keep noticing how every demon that involves itself with Tanjiro, they always seem to have some aspect of their lives that they have some regret about. And then it always leads to Tanjiro either doing something that at least puts their soul at ease before they die. So I like the fact that even though Tanjiro is, a member of the Demon Slayer Corps whose whole job is to kill demons, he's still human enough in his job to see that, hey, these demons used to be people. So I'll give them a quick death. And if they have any regrets or anything like that, then, well, we'll see where it goes from here. Long story short, Tanjiro can see the intent of demons as they die. He can tell if they have any hints of sadness, remorse, regrets, anything like that, that allows him to sympathize with them before they fade away, which sets him apart from a lot of the other demon slayers thus far. But I wonder what's going to happen between Shinobu and Giyu, because I'm pretty sure Shinobu came in with the intent of trying to kill Nezuko. That's the only reason why she came in with her sword prepared for that, and that's the reason why Giyu blocked her blow. So now, well, we're just going to have to see where the story goes on for Demon Slayer next time. So with that being said, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. And if you enjoyed what you saw here today, then consider subscribing, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day, and once again, as always, later, peoples.